All right. So I'm excited today for everyone to meet my friend Yanni. And I want to introduce him first. He's got a great bio, and I want everybody to really understand where we're coming from on this. And we're going to do just a fireside chat type interview where I just go through some questions so you can see what he does with me and how we want to help and support just our friends and our clients and our people. So Yanni, he's big. I say big time, right? You're big time, Yanni. Award-winning Fortune 200 trainer, business coach. He has over 10,000 hours of consulting, training, and coaching within both the nonprofit and business worlds. So both sides of it. His main focus is facilitating successful organizational and leadership transformations. I love that word, transformation. That's what we're all trying to do. We're trying to improve who we are, and he's obviously the man when it comes to helping us make those changes. Yanni has also led multiple nonprofits and businesses. His leadership roles have spanned from startups, churches, Fortune 200 based organizations. He is a performance coach. I love that. That's a great title. He's an ordained pastor and holds a degree in church leadership with a minor in psychology. Love it. I tell my wife all the time, I have a minor in psychology, even though I don't. I say I major in psychology, but that's definitely not true. Yanni has spent time traveling the country as a preacher, a keynote speaker for many, many years. He's married with one child and lives in the Boise, Idaho metropolitan area. He spends most of his free time with his family and loves to be outdoors as much as he can, which, beautiful area. I'm sure both winter and summer are amazing there, right?
Very much so.
Yeah. So share with everyone, when I say Fortune 200 trainer and business coach, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, great question. And first thing, thank you for having me. And I'm very excited to be here and just talking with your audience. Yeah. So I literally was a state training coordinator within a Fortune 200 organization and when we talk about Fortune 200, most people know the list as the Fortune 500 list.
Yeah.
But what we've started to see over the years is that some companies want to, well, hey, we're better than the top 500.
We're down to 200.
Yeah, we're down to 200. Yeah. And then there's always the Fortune 10.
Fortune 100.
Yeah. So this is it's a Fortune 200 company, and they've been trying so hard to break into the 100. I mean, if we're just, since I'm not saying their name, I can hear some dirty secrets.
Yeah.
But they're getting close. But wow, that's really, and let me just say, Eric, it's interesting because I didn't actually seek that role with them. Mm-hmm. They actually came and sought me because of what I've done up to that point. And I have to say, it really was a hand in a glove. It was a great experience.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And you're helping them with what we're going to talk about today, with leadership, with vision, with culture, and all those things, which, as you and I have got to know each other, I think it was ordained that we were connected. I love that we meet every month. And I was like, you know what we need to do? We need to record this. We need to get the word out. And so I want to roll out Yanni to my people, to my clients, to my friends that I've worked with over the years, so that they have access to you, because I think what you offer is amazing, absolutely amazing. So let's back up. How did you get into this realm of leadership and business coaching?
You know, it's funny. Again, I really didn't set out that way. Mm-hmm. So I got out of college. You mentioned I'm ordained clergy, mm-hmm. and I was a pastor. Mm-hmm. And then eventually I went and I was traveling the country and I was speaking for churches. I was speaking for secular, non-church events. Mm-hmm. And I would have these leaders and these pastors say, okay. Afterwards, they come up to me, okay, I heard what you were saying, but how do I do this? Mm-hmm. Okay, how do I handle that? And it really started to find me back then. The coaching wasn't a thing. Mm-hmm. I was just helping leaders be better leaders in some aspects because they just didn't know where to go. Mm-hmm. Now, I do have a degree in leadership, mm-hmm. But I didn't expect to go that route. When I got to that Fortune 200 company, I started as a normal kind of ground level worker bee. I was kind of transitioning out of the not-for-profit world financially. But again, when they really understood who I was and what I did, and this is one of the reasons why they specifically are a great company. But I also believe in that divine providence. Those doors started to open before me. And once I started doing in the business world what I had been doing with leaders in the not-for-profit world, it just continued to click, and it's never really stopped.
Love it. That's so good. And so you have a passion for developing, coaching, right? Transformation, pouring into and helping people get to that next thing. And it's a really intangible thing what you do. And so why do these leaders use you to do that? How do you make that tangible, understandable? Why do leaders want you to coach them?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And I think the first part about that is most leaders actually think that their problems are dirty little secrets that no one actually knows. And usually in my first meeting with them, we just blow that way out of the water. And they're like, oh, wait, you understand this? Yeah. And you probably feel this and this. That's exactly how I feel. And one of the things that I found is that usually the person who understands your problem, you look at that person and go, well, if you understand the problem, you probably understand the solution. I think the other aspect of this is, and this is, I actually hate touting my credentials. And I had a coach and a mentor of mine who said, hey, what you do is a little intangible, to your point, Eric, without touting your credentials.
Yeah.
Your credentials, what you've done, the successes that you've brought, that is the tangible.
That's
so
the
I
measurement.
can look, I can look and I can say, hey, I've helped leaders literally turn around their sales, turn around their customer service, turn around their company over and over and over again. Yeah. And that's the tangible.
Yeah. So let's make it even more tangible with the practical things. Obviously I'm dealing in the dental world. And so I said to you, well, wait a second, what do you know about dentistry? And we had this great talk. You're like, it's not about dentistry. It's about leadership. It's about culture. It's about coaching. So why should we be rolling this sort of coaching option out to dentists? It's something that I'm not doing. What are you doing? What are you going to bring to the team to help these dentists, these dental offices?
Yep. All right. So I'm going to do something that I usually hate doing. And that is I'm going to answer your question with a question.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to change that. Let's talk through some of the top 3 problems.
Okay.
That dentists face.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So why don't you give me those top 3 problems?
So this is Wednesday. Starting on Monday, I had 5 dentists messaging me and texting me on Monday, and maybe 3 more the last 2 days tell me either employees aren't showing up or they're resigning. And how do I get new employees to fill this, or have them stay on board and show up and be there and be committed team members, right? Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Not great that it's happening, but
no, but it's a good example. I get what you're saying. Yeah. And then I think what that follows through is culture. I think that's a really, really hot topic, right? That employee stability, no drama, there's a positive energy, and they don't really know how to create it. And to be honest with it, they're with patients all the time. How can they be out there? Like, how do I create culture? I'm with a patient, And so I think that's a big one. And then of course, number 3, which I work on all the time, which is how to grow the practice in a healthy way and not a stressful way. Right. Yeah.
And those are really good.
Mhm.
And then obviously the sub point of here, maybe we'll call it 3A, is patience. Right? If you're going to, because growing the practice can cover a ton of things, but do you have the patients coming in, right? In the other businesses, it's customers, here's patients. Okay, so let me walk you through some of the things that I kind of look at for this. I'm going to step back in so you can see my face. All right, so Eric, will you just for a moment be a dentist that I'm coaching?
Well, I better sit up straight.
Yeah, 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 that's great. That's great. All right, so let me ask you a question. Do you know any dentists who really don't have these problems but are successfully
They might
doing this
not
work?
have all three of them as an issue, but they might have one of them and they fix the other two or something like that. Yeah,
Sure.
of course.
Okay,
Of course.
perfect. So I want you to think about those dentists in mind. Do they have employees?
Yes.
Do they have patients?
Yes, exactly. The patients are showing up and they're saying yes, yes.
Okay. Do they have an office where these employees and patients meet?
Yes.
Okay. Do they have overhead?
Absolutely.
Do they have cancellations?
Yes.
Do they have problems?
They have problems and we're fixing them. Some of them have less problems, some are better. You know, all depends on success story and finding that recipe on how they fix that one thing that you mentioned out of all of those things. Yes.
And you mentioned that for some of them, they've fixed culture and or they're growing their practice. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
here's my point. And this is where it gets really interesting. So what's different between you and them? And before you answer
I
that,
don't know.
yeah, yeah, right. Before some dentists now, you may be able to say, look, the guy down the street has a better location, gets more foot traffic, and I'm going to look at you and go, is dentistry really about foot traffic? So what makes this so different
Yeah, I
for
get it.
those other
Well, it's
places?
me. I'm different than them. I'm unique in who I am. They're unique in who they are. How do emotional intelligence, its personality, character, integrity, all those things start to play a role or whatever.
That's it, Eric. That's it. The difference from one dental practice to the other is the leader. You might be, and look, here's the problem, right? I went to Bible school to learn to be a pastor. What's interesting, and this is how I kind of got a little bit into business, is there's one thing they don't teach you. They don't teach you the business of the nonprofit world. I had to learn that. When you go to dental school, they're not, Eric, they're not. You're not in an accounting class, but every dentist, anyone in a dental practice who is listening to this or watching this is going, why did we not have a basic accounting class?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So the fact of the matter is, when you're learning how to pull a molar for the first time, they're not talking about how to get employees to show up. They're not talking about how to fix and adjust the culture. And so you're coming to this with the leadership that you have. Now, I talked about experience. Let me give you a real world example. Okay. Different but similar. I was working with insurance agents and they're fabulous salespeople, absolutely fabulous salespeople. They have a problem in their leadership structure. The person who gets promoted to a leader is the person who is the best salesperson, because they figure the best salesperson can lead other salespeople the best. There is a massive difference between being the best dentist and the best leader, or the best insurance person and the best leader.
No, absolutely. I'll just throw a statistic of that. I mean, and what Carnegie or whoever maybe said this first, 85% of your success comes from your people skills and 15% comes from your clinical skills. They have no idea how good of a dentist you are. What they know is how they feel when they're around you, how your team interacts, how you care for them, how you talk with them, how you interact. Absolutely agree.
So what makes these dentists that have figured this out different? Maybe they do come with some better soft people skills. Maybe they do have a little bit more leadership skills. But I'm going to tell you something. What makes these people most of the time different is they stopped and said, I need to proactively fix this. I need to address it. And here's what I'm going to say to you. Look, if you had 4 chairs in your dental office and one of those chairs stopped raising and lifting, you wouldn't caution tape that room off and go, oh, I'm down to 3. But Eric, that's what we do with leadership. Oh, I guess I don't know how
Not
to
a
keep
leader.
employees. I'm
Yeah.
going to just keep hiring them.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. There's so much turnover right now. So much turnover. And what's happening, I feel bad because I train these team members and they leave, right? And it's just creating this turnover.
Well, and then take a look at that turnover for a moment. Yes, we can go back and say, well, let me say it this way. When you're looking at turnover, and we've had seasons in the market where there's higher turnover and higher turnover. Can you tell me that everybody's having higher turnover? No. So again, I go back to wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why do some companies do and some don't?
Yeah.
It's leadership. The fact of the matter is, I know plenty of organizations that don't pay as well as their competitor, but the environment, the culture, the leadership, and actually, I just had the direction. I, as the employee, can I look at that leader and go, this practice is going to be around no matter what happens, no matter how unstable, no matter how crazy, no matter if the economy's up or down, that leader knows what they're doing.
Yeah. So how do you fix this? So I'm the dentist sitting here, right? And I'm going, okay, Yanni, how do you fix this?
Okay. So the first way I do it is I make you dance. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding. So the very first way, and I'll give away my secrets, because it's not knowing what to do, it's knowing how to do what to do. The very first thing is, where are you proactively planning to go? And for most business owners, especially in the dental field, well, I'm going to get more clients. Oh, great. How are you going to get there? And then here's what happens. I ask those questions and I get the guesses. Well, we're thinking, hold on. If I get in the car and I look at my wife and I say, where are we going? And she says, we're going to the other side of town. I say, great. How do we get there? And she goes, well, I'm guessing that I get out of the car, I get whatever GPS or maps or navigation I want to know when I get in the car, I want to know exactly where I'm going. So I help these leaders literally build that. Where are you going with your culture? Yeah. Where are you going with your business plan? Where are you going with your marketing? Where are you going with your sales?
A couple of things. If I'm an employee, I can't get on board with you because I don't even know what on board looks like.
Yeah.
2, I talk with doctors. I go, all right, I want to work on you with your vision. I want to work on your vision. I want to work on your vision, but they're always putting out fires. And it's like, you got to take the time, step aside and write this vision out, get clear on it, and get it shared with your team so that they can get on board with something. I asked a doctor the other day, and he'll probably watch this. What's your vision? Oh, to get better. I was like, I know. How? What? We're going across town. It's like, okay, but I can't get on board with that as an employee. And you want people to be on board with you and stay on board and be fired up and be positive and have this culture. But they got to know how we're doing this and where we're going. I completely agree.
Let's talk about Napoleon. And I'm not talking Napoleon Dynamite. Napoleon is quoted as saying something very interesting. He said, it boggles, something to the effect of, it boggles my mind how men will give their lives for a piece of cloth. And what he was referring to is people will die to honor the French flag.
Yeah, what uniform they're wearing. Yeah.
Or the uniform that they're wearing.
Yeah.
But why are they dying? It's not really because of the uniform. It's what the uniform or the flag represents. There's a really old, like 5,000-year-old saying, without vision, the people perish. If you don't have vision, if you don't know where you're going, your people aren't going to stay along for the ride. It doesn't matter how much you pay them. And Eric, if you'll let me tell this story, I don't remember what university did this, but they did a study where I think it was like 100 or 200 people, and they had them come out and dig a hole, 4 foot by 4 foot square hole, dig the hole here, put the dirt here, and they paid $1. They said, if you come tomorrow, we'll pay you $2. Came back, $2, move the dirt back into the hole, dig a hole where the dirt was, and put that dirt onto, basically they moved the hole.
Yeah.
Every
move
day,
a hole.
just move a hole, move it from here to there. Every day, it was $100 more. It was $100 more. By the time the last person quit, I think that person was up to like $500 or $600 a day.
But they just got tired of doing it.
No, all of them quit for the exact same reason.
Why are we doing this?
There's no purpose in what I'm doing.
Why are we doing this? This is money, but it's not what I want to do.
This is a waste of my life. Yeah. I'm sorry. Now you might be sitting there going, for $600 a day.
Yeah. Dig a hole.
Dig a hole. And it took what, an hour or two? I mean, you're talking $300 an hour to just with no liability, no stress, but there was no purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the other thing I see too is when we look at different surveys, trust survey, commitment surveys, employee feedback surveys, money is never number one. No, never number one. It's like appreciation, value, and growth, family oriented. Those are the types of things that we see.
Every time.
Yeah.
And to that point, this is where leadership comes in, because even if you happen to take that accounting class in college, your people create your money, especially in a service industry like dentistry, right? So if your product is food, let's say you go to a restaurant and you think that your product is food, well, yes, that's your product, but the most important person is the guy or gal who creates your product, and the guy or gal who serves your product. It doesn't matter how good your product is if it never gets to that person.
Yeah. So true.
So Eric, let me ask this, because people will often ask me, is leadership really that important?
It's so intangible and they don't know how to grab it. And they can grab, I can produce, I can access service it out, whether it's making money or getting patients healthy or seeing patients, whatever it is. But how do I lead? How do I be a leader?
All right. So let me ask you, do you see that among dentists at this point?
100%. Yeah. I mean, there are some dentists that have really figured it out, that really are just, I think almost, they didn't really go through training for it, but they're just naturally gifted in magnetism. I would try to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah. Or maybe they have a good staff member who fills that gap enough.
Yeah. Like Strength Finder or something in those regards. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I want to speak to both of those. Number one, if you lack as a leader and you bring on a good leader to kind of lead the crew, unless you're married to that good leader, they will eventually leave. And oftentimes will take your crew with you.
There you go. Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, and this is where it gets crazy. You're a dentist. You have a degree to work in people's mouths. Your business has nothing to do with that other than the product.
The service. Yeah.
That's it. That's everything else. All the billing, all the invoicing, customer retention, customer service, selling, upselling, client acquisition, marketing, culture, all of those things. That's all leadership. It's all built on leadership and a written out, defined leadership. So that's one of the things that we do. If you don't know where you're going and how you're going to get there, then your people don't know. And if your people don't know, then it's the lost leading the lost,
That's
and
right.
the blind leading the
Yep.
blind.
Yeah. If you don't know where you're going, any road will do. There's been some discussions on this before. So I'm a dentist and I'm watching this. What do I do now? I recognize, I admit I have a problem. I'm now consciously incompetent. Now, how do I get there? How do I, what can I do?
So, if you want to stand up right where you are, pause this, stand up and say, my name is Dr. Gowakowicz, and I have a leadership issue, right? But be at your own personal AA meeting. That is a good thing. The key thing is for you to realize, wow, I really have a need here.
Yeah.
And then is to realize, you know what, I need to get help. And I'm going to spin this back to the dentists. There is no dentist who is listening to this, watching this, who would ever advise somebody to figure out fixing their kid's tooth
On their own.
Yep.
Yeah.
No dentist would ever go, you know what? It's not really that hard. Here's a couple tools. You do the cleaning yourself.
Yeah.
In fact,
That's a good
dentists,
point.
your entire business model is built on somebody having a need that they need help with.
Yeah.
So the best way that you can lead is lead by example.
Yeah.
If you're a couple years in, you haven't figured this out,
yeah,
but get some help.
That's what I love about John Maxwell. And that I'm connected with John, and you've seen all his stuff and done. I love that he says, nobody's following you if you don't know what you're doing, right? You got to know what you're doing in these things. And it takes practice. And I want the dentist to think about your first crown prep to how you're performing now. There's been a great many times and attempts at getting better. Just like with leadership, it takes many times of energy and effort to get better. And that's why we're doing this. I want everyone to have access to Yanni. So if you want help, if you stood up and said, I need help, my name's Eric Vickery and I need help, and you want that, just email me and we're going to get you connected, and we're going to figure it out based upon you specifically. And most of the people who are watching, listen to this, I know you, and I'm here to help and help you develop some leadership. And it could also be office managers. It could be dentists, but like you said, hey, are they really going to be there forever? And so, there's an end result to an employee's tenure with your practice. The average American employee is at their job for 4.4 years. So, consider yourself blessed if you have someone longer than that. And so, yes, you can invest in them. I want you to do that, but you also got to invest in yourself. You can't keep pawning it off on other people. So does that sound fair? Have them reach out to me and we'll get this going, and have them work with you and figure out how to develop their leadership, their culture. And how does that sound?
Eric, you hit the nail on the head. And if I can just make one final comment, Look, I never trust a dentist with dirty teeth. I would never sit in a dentist chair with just stained yellow, bejaggled teeth. I wouldn't do it. Most of you probably wouldn't do it. Your employees feel the same way about leadership. After a while, they start to see what's under the rug. They start to see where this is going. It's all built on leadership. Don't be the dentist with stained yellow teeth.
Yeah, it's good. Good analogy. Yeah. It's your number one marketing tool also. So dentists, you're listening to this and you haven't got things fixed up here, go see your buddy who's a dentist. Let's get it dialed in, because patients are looking at that going, well, why are you talking to me about it if it's not there? I've seen it. Happens. Got to get on point with that. Yanni, I really appreciate you, man. Really appreciate you coming on board. You're the master. I'm really excited to work with you with clients. I think it's gonna be a great coaching partnership. You're my coaching partner, and I'm excited to see where this takes our clients and the value we can provide for them and help them grow. So
I am too. Thank you, Eric. Thank you so
absolutely.
much.
Oh yeah. So if you want to do this, if you want to jump on board and get into some leadership coaching with Yanni, just email me, ericyourcoach@gmail.com or ericyourcoach@charter.net, whichever email address you have for me. They both go, I don't know why I have two, but ericyourcoach@charter.net. You can go to vickerydentalconsulting.com. You can put an email request in there. It'll get to me. you can go to social media and find me. Obviously, if you're watching this, you have my email address most likely. So thank you for taking the time out of your day to listen to this and see what we're offering, and look forward to supporting you and creating value in your practice and growth. So thanks again, Yanni. All right, awesome.